What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and support. Over 1,400 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. None of this is possible without you guys, so I thank you so very much. And because you guys love on me so much, and some of us are still self-quarantining, we're living that COVID-19 life, I have got an expert with me today. I'm super excited to chat with the founder and CEO of the 5-Day Startup, the wonderful Scott Bartnick. Hey, Scott.
Hi, Ash. I really appreciate the introduction and being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much. So, Scott, to start things off, how did you found the 5-Day Startup?
Oh, that's a long story. It started with my own e-commerce business. So my background, I'm an engineer. I was working for a Fortune 500 company, and it wasn't satisfying to me. I was bored, and I saw it was an economic downturn for my company at the time. We were in power management, and we were hit really hard. And so I saw people left and right getting fired. So I decided that I needed to find some kind of alternative income to make sure that if I ever was fired, I was going to be taken care of. And so that turned into e-commerce. And I started building out my e-commerce business, and about 2.5, 3 years later, people kept asking me how I was having so much success and really wanted help coaching. And so I finally started the 5-Day Startup, where I help people build e-commerce businesses, focused mostly on products, but I have started expanding that into services as well.
Yeah, so for someone who is listening right now and they're going through either they got laid off from a job or because of COVID-19, they just don't feel safe working in a public environment, what would be your first suggestion for them?
Of course, and so the easiest thing to start is a service. I do coach mostly on products, but the products take some time. You have the supply chain, large inventory orders, and there's a lot more risk. When you start with a service, it's a lot easier. So website development is one that I always try to get people into. It takes a little bit of creativity, but it's actually very little programming, and it's just kind of understanding a system. And you can sell a single website for upwards of $10,000 to $20,000, which sounds crazy, but that means you can have a full-time salary after a month or two of learning. But there's also other things like drop shipping, just doing copyright, writing for blogs and journals, video editing, digital marketing, graphic design. All these things are really easy to do, and you can start making money day one.
Wow. So with those opportunities, with a service-based business, I should say. So say someone that's doing copywriting, how would they get the word out there about their services?
So that's a little bit of the harder part, but there are services like Upwork and Fiverr, which are freelancing websites. It's a great way to start, and you can get your first couple clients there, kind of really understand what you're doing, figure out your sales pitch, which is very important. That's one of the things we coach on, is making sure you're saying the right thing to get that sale, and then making sure you have the right service to follow up. But once you get that, definitely start investing in a website, some good graphic design, and you start slow and you just build up until you have this immense machine. I actually recently started a PR company, and I'm a part owner in it, and it went from 1 employee and now we have 15, and that's been over 6 months. So once you put all these pieces in place and you start hiring the right people as you can afford it, it can grow very quickly.
Gotcha. Now, as far as products go, let's say masks. Right now, everybody's selling every kind of mask. Everybody is, totally capitalizing on that. But what would you say would be the best e-commerce background for a product like a mask?
Yeah, of course. So masks are an interesting one. There's a lot of regulations around it. I've consulted with clients doing masks. You get a lot of trouble selling them on eBay and Amazon. What is allowed is those fabric face masks, so those handmade ones with cool designs. And actually, that's always a fun one because you can customize it. So anything that you can make unique and differentiate is a really good area to start. And then I always suggest people looking for really high quality products. But as for an easy home run on product basis, there's no good answer for you. What I do recommend is if you want to just start out and you're kind of testing the waters and it's not a primary source of income, you can actually try out drop shipping, which is where you would buy a product from, say, Amazon and sell it on eBay. And you can make a small margin there and just learn the process.
Gotcha. What roadblocks do you think that a lot of new people that are in e-commerce or starting out with e-commerce face?
So there's two major ones. One's the finances, and the other one is just the knowledge. Knowledge is definitely the bigger roadblock. It takes a lot to understand every step, especially if you're coming from nothing. You have to understand finances, you have to understand marketing, you have to understand product development, supply chain, importing if you're importing from externally, so customs, taxes. It just becomes overwhelming. And so that's probably the biggest roadblock in my opinion. It's really why I always say take your time, start slow, and learn one thing very well. And that's why the service is just a little bit easier to start with.
Gotcha. What would you say are the best ways to promote your e-commerce business?
So my background is in social media. One of my first businesses or service businesses was around Instagram marketing. I do a lot of sales on Instagram marketing. I think that, and I'm not even sure this is the right term, but guerrilla marketing is just word of mouth, but really reaching out, even if it's on social media or email or text message. It's just communicating with people in a personal way and telling your story. So not just blasting it or putting something up there and hoping someone sees it. You really have to, if you want 100 people to see it, you got to call 100 people and tell them about your product. And I think that's what a lot of people miss, is there's a lot of work after just getting that website up. You actually have to tell people to go to your website, whether that's through ads or just really good content that goes viral, or just sitting on the phone all day and making those phone calls until people pay attention to you.
Gotcha. Now, Scott, last but certainly not least, for people out there that are listening right now to you and they're like, you know what, Scott is hitting all these points that I really want to latch on to, but they want to reach out to you or they want to get some coaching from you. What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Definitely. So you can just reach out at the 5 Days Startup, and it's all spelled out, just the5daysstartup.com.
Sounds like a plan, Scott. Much more success to you 2020 and beyond. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I really appreciate being on the show.
Not a problem. And I thank each and every one of you guys for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.